Hello everyone, it's Chocolate here. This is the companion video to my 15-3 gear recommendations. Nothing much has changed in terms of the guide itself, so I'm just gonna go top to bottom and note any units that have special things this time, and also all the new units we got or are about to get. So starting with Rima, she's still absolute god tier in PvP for everything basically. I can't really imagine not using her, at least on one team in PA. And for BA, she's one of the absolute core tanks for most comps and for countering a lot of comps. For her, rank 15 is strictly better, but like many cases this time around, it's not really necessary to go up right away if you are lacking the gear or you want to conserve resources. But yeah, thanks to more normal 2 events now, thanks to the changed schedule that's more in line with current JP, I think it should be possible to go up with basically everyone who wants rank 15 already. Or if not already, then at least until CB, while still getting all the important CB units. So for her, 15-3. And the next two, Miyako and Kuka, both starting to kind of fall off a bit. They're still a good pair for PA especially, but we have so many tools to deal with either of them or both together now that they're not the god combination that they used to be. Kind of similar for both. They lose TP retain, and it's kind of a toss-up between using all the other stats or losing that TP retain, so kind of it's up for preference, and if you want to conserve resources, this is a great place to do it. Jun, kind of a fringe unit now, especially Oedo Kuka is just better if you want a tank that has a UB which heals her back up. So for Jun, it's kind of, she should stay at R14 because that's where she has the highest TP retain, so we kind of just want to conserve her favorable TP stats, especially for PvE, where she does see use from time to time, and for that it's just best to have the best UB timings if you need to use shield to counter some kind of boss mechanic. So moving on to Kuka, for her, she really wants that TP retain, so losing 2 with R15 is bad. So in active use with PvP, she should stay R14, and for CB players, they should just leave her as is anyway. Not worth wasting TDA just to make the unit worse. Kaori, kind of very simple, like many DPS this time around. 15-3 is just better. Just higher peak rate, more DPS, that's all it is. So for her, she can go up to 15-3. Most likely, there's a couple uses for her, but she's falling off really hard in CB right now, even though you are likely to see her used at least once or twice during phase 1 and 2 on day 1. Nujire, rank 15. She kind of also wants TP retain, but it's more important for her to just stay alive. So I'm gonna say rank 15 is a go, because right now she's just so squishy compared to the other tanks like good old Pekka over here. So for her, she just wants the raw stats in my opinion, and that's why rank 15. Pekka, she loses TP retain and also physical tankiness, so there's not really much of a point in going up yet. For that reason, just rank 14, and yep, that's it for her. Ruka, if you actually use her in PvP, like with Gigamax Ruka, then I guess rank 15 is fine. Otherwise, I'd just say keep her where she is to make sure you can use her later in CB and potentially also in PvE, where there's some use cases for her. Nozomin, sadly, falling off further and further each time, but still, if you want to use her, rank 14 is the way to go. She does lose accuracy at rank 15, and at the moment she's already at the weird break point where she kind of starts to miss some units, so I'd say rank 14 is just a slight bit better, even if she gained extra stats with like 15-4. Then moving on to Muimi, pretty simple. R15 is higher DPS, and that's what matters for her. So most likely she's going to be rank 15 for CB. Makoto will, for her, she's going to see a lot more use. Like last CB, it almost felt like she wasn't really used at all anymore, but next CB she's going to see use again. And especially the CB after, once we get the really high boss defense stats with CB21, that's where she really comes back into herself and becomes one of the absolute key core units in CB again for the physical team, where you pretty much can't make do without her shred. So for her, kind of rank 14, rank 15, it's not really clear yet whether there's any timelines that break from having her rank 15. So for now, I'm just gonna say keep her rank 14 with the midlife piece off until CB, and just check whether there's any case where you need to run her at rank 14. Otherwise, she can just go up to rank 15 because that's higher DPS. Yeah, most likely rank 14, maybe some kind of borrow rank in case it's necessary, especially for CB21. But yeah, for normal use, I think we're going to see rank 15. Enichori and Oninon, both rank 15, not used at all at the moment, so not going to go too deep into that. Aquino, rank 15. For her, there was some info because CN is getting her 6-star, and there was some note that she does not want high UE level. Like, we do have to equip her UE to get 6-star, but it's better to not level it to the max. It's not clear yet what the exact specifications for her are, but suffice to say it's best to just leave UE as is, or just leave it unequipped until we actually do go for the 6-star once it happens. As Makoto, core unit for physical. Again, like with Makoto regular, there is a chance that 14 without the armor could see use, but most likely I think we are going to use like 4-star or 3-star. Like for CB20, I think it's 4-star the use where she has to be less tanky, and for CB21 I think it's 3-star and maybe 4-star as well. So most likely just going to borrow a lower star as Makoto rather than keeping rank 14, because what we're going to see at this point is the extra P-crit kind of makes the lower star with higher gear more worth in terms of DPS than a higher star with lower gear. That's just how these scaling factors work. So for her, I'd say don't really worry about it, just prepare rank 15 gear, because most likely you're going to borrow the lower ascension, or you're going to be the lower ascension, depending on what you have. Chloe, rank 15. Matsuri, rank 14, but it's almost close to a toss-up, so for her it's just a matter of, yeah, TP retain, and because she loses some other stats. But yeah, it's pretty close, doesn't matter too much. She's just decent. I think if you're still using her, you already know what you want out of her. Bieriko, doesn't matter. Ayane can just stay as is until we get her UE, and we kind of use her on every single physical team again. So yeah, for her just stay as is at the moment. Tsumugi, this is probably the best time to get into what's up with next CB. So originally it was expected that next CB is going to be a double loop CB, but due to X-Chica being slightly different on global, meaning her sylphs spawn staggered, so first the attack sylph, then the heal sylph, and then the TP sylph, and so there's a bit more delay, or there was a bit more delay on global between her UB and the TP charge on the TP charge sylph. So for Glutton that made a slight difference, but for the like mainly spam timelines it was like whatever, still worked. But for CB20, especially the 5th boss, so B5 and C5, which were loops, it's kind of different because Scorpion has such a short time in between UBs that for the global X-Chica, the TP charge Sylph didn't actually have time enough to TP charge. So what would happen is you were just short of having enough TP to keep the loop going at the beginning, and it would just fizzle out. But what we are looking at the moment is the update on the 15th. It will most likely change the prefabs of X-Chica to those of her with UE, which kind of fixes those staggered Sylph spawns. So most likely what we are looking at is a double loop CB, or in the case of day 1, triple loop with B5, C4 and C5. And what this has to do with Tsumugi is that Mugi is interesting in that she can be used for C4 as a replacement for Kokoro. Because what Tsumugi can do is, by using the knockback on her UB, she can cancel out the boss UB lag. So what normally happens after a boss UB, there's a fixed number of frames during which it can't do anything, and in a loop it just waits out those frames, and then on the first frame after that it's going to use UB again. And with Tsumugi, she can cancel those frames, and normally the boss would be in kind of a stagger state where it's kind of not doing anything and has to recover from that. So just with using Tsumugi, it wouldn't really speed up the loop, but by using any other UB after Tsumugi, the stagger state gets cancelled instantly and the boss uses UB early. So what this means is Tsumugi can speed up the loop, and that means she's either a cheaper option to Kokoro, or in the case of rank 9 Tsumugi, she actually increases the damage of the loop because she can speed it up so much. And that's only possible because of the changed X-Chica. Like, it was possible before, but it's, let's say, viable now. And yeah, for that, rank 9 is the ideal, but apparently it looks like even higher ranks can work in kind of a 2-1 cycle where you only UB with Tsumugi every couple loops. Yeah, I don't have too much information of that because I'm still waiting for the update that's coming in, because we'll still have to look at everything and what changes, because there might be some other changes included in the update where it might just invalidate everything I say. So just know Tsumugi could be used next CB, and for that probably best just keep her rank 14 so you can go up to rank 15-0. But if you say no, I don't care about that, I'm not gonna do a loop where you have to use hundreds of UB with Tsumugi. In worst case, I'm just gonna use Kokoro, then that's fine. 15-3 is optimal for PvP at the moment. So yeah, that's Tsumugi, and also some info on CB. Hyori, just rank 15, but for just a 6-star waiting room. Misogi, rank 15. Ayane, still rank 12, in case she's ever used again. Misogi, absolute beast of a unit. I've been trying her out a couple times now, or like a couple weeks now, since I 5-starred her pretty much at the beginning of the event, and I'm pretty happy with her performance. She's just one of those units where if she can get off UB, it's game over for a lot of attack teams, because it's going to kill 1 or 2 key units, and that means the tanks stall out no matter what happens. So very cool, very strong, but there are ways to get rid of her fast enough, or kind of to survive her UB. That she's not a god unit, but still very good on defense, and I wouldn't want to have PA defense without her at the moment, because she's just very easy to use, especially because she's frontline, so you don't have to use Rima with her, unlike with like Eskauri, for example. So yeah, very strong. Rank 15 is better for her, but again, you can conserve resources if you like. Tamaki, rank 15. Tomo, rank 15. Estama, rank 15, but for her it's really marginal, It is higher DPS, but only a little bit noticeable, and if you aren't really using her, there's no reason to really go up. Eriko. So with Eriko, that's another thing that was just announced. We are definitely getting UE 150 on cap. Very nice, Crunchyroll, thank you for that, because it means with Eriko above rank 13, she will 100% always get the good cycle, meaning before, with rank 13, it was the only rank that without incoming damage, she would always get the good cycle, meaning having you be up during her buff. And rank 14, rank 15 needed either TP charge or some TP boost buff or some incoming damage to get the good cycle. But now it just means rank 15 is basically the best, and I'm going to update my gear guide once that's 100% confirmed. And also, yeah, she's kind of part of the current physical trifecta, which is Jita, Eriko and S Makoto. So those 3 units are always going to be on the best physical teams at the moment. So now, as Peko, sad to say, this is now where she's really falling off, because there's other units that are just strictly better, like especially H Misogi. Like H Misogi is just an full AoE as Peko, but without the push. So the only time I think she's ever useful now is if you need the push. It's going to be the case a couple times, especially after EO 6-star. There's like 1 or 2 teams where you want as Peko, but other than that, she's just superseded by other cleavers that are stronger in and of themselves. But for her, if you're still using her like me, rank 15 is the way to go. So now for Kurumi, yeah, she loses TP retain and magic tankiness, and for me that's reason enough to just stay rank 14, because the times that I'm personally using her and noticing she is in danger of dying or she actually needs tankiness is against mages. Like even if it's against something like with Rino, the only time Kurumi herself is actually in danger before other units is when there's like a Nenika present, for example. So I'm gonna say rank 14 is more important with the extra magic tankiness. And actually, yeah, just so you know, she's even more powerful at the moment because of Rino, because she can make a lot of units survive through the 6-star Rino UB. And same with Halloween Misogi. She also really helps insulate against her and also helps H Misogi survive some stuff. Jita, rank 15, just more DPS. Array, 6-star waiting room, rank 15. Shizuru, rank 14, but is kind of pretty weak at the moment because she just doesn't do much. So yeah, for her, rank 14 if you're even using her. Chrissy, rank 15, more DPS. And ex-Kurumi, rank 14. For her, interestingly enough, I've seen a couple of guys use her to very great effect because her defensive PDEF and MDEF buff is one-time use, but if you're just shielding against, say, a Reno UB, then one time is plenty, and yeah, it's just a matter of making her work. So yeah, I think she's pretty fun, but not really good enough to see like regularly use, unless you're memeing with her. Mimi, as cute as she is, her Halloween ult is going to be much more powerful than the base version. She's had her time in the limelight, but I think it's over now. Still, rank 14 better because for her she just loses P-crit, and I think that should be the deciding factor from now on for a lot of units, where you just want highest crit rate possible. Shinobu, rank 14. I'm gonna say I think rank 14 is gonna be the place to stay for a while, in case she's useful for like PvE, because I don't really see use for her in CB or PvP at the moment. So yeah, for her, I'm gonna say probably just keep her rank 14 because she works at that. So now, the new PvP linchpin. If you don't know what to use, just for HMimi added. Yeah, HMimi is gonna come out soon. She is a true powerhouse, kind of like Kaori on release, but good both on offense and defense, because what she does is she buffs the whole team and she cleaves the whole enemy team. Like, not the whole enemy team, but her cleave has really high range and it's really, really powerful. So yeah, with her skill rotation as well, where she has like 1 to 2 autos in between like a couple skills, she's just extremely powerful. And yeah, she's gonna slap. That's all I'm gonna say. She also loses P-Crit at rank 15 at the moment, so for her it's gonna be rank 14 on release. Vishizu, nothing really changed, just rank 12 basically. If you still have a rank 9 for some reason, like I have on one alt, nothing's stopping you from keeping that, but I don't think we're gonna need to use that at any point. So for me it's just rank 12, and I think rank 12-5 with everything but midlife is just kind of a standard. Mahiro, rank 14. Yukari, kind of just keep her as is. If you're using her for PvP, I think rank 14-6 is the most that she should go to, because for her, even if PvP demands like high rank Yukari, I think it's best to just preserve her as usable in the most instances of everything across the board, and that's like rank 14 should be the highest to go to, unless you're like purely PvP focused and want to go up later when we really notice the extra def stats that like rank 16 has. Now Monica, rank 15, nothing really special there. She loses TP retain, but that doesn't really matter because she just does more damage and has more tankiness, and there's a little typo there I'm gonna fix after this. Ninon, really much more of a attack unit than in ages past if you need to push, and well, rank 15 in that case. Mifuyu, rank 14. I've seen a couple people use her, but personally I'm not really convinced. But yeah, she can be used. But yeah, that's about it. Ilya, rank 14, I think. I'd be happy to be proven wrong, but I think rank 14 is just more favorable overall, especially when self-crits are involved. So yeah, for me it's just rank 14. Unless, especially if a timeline comes out where it's just rank 15, then okay, but at the moment I think rank 14 is the way to go. Kaori, rank 15, nothing really more to say about that. Saren, rank 15, and noting some issue there I'm gonna fix after. Again, for CBUs, like the Giga min-max CBUs after Nyaru, keep her as is, because there are some cases where she either needs to suicide or needs to not do enough damage to kill Nyaru when being charmed. So just keep that in mind. I think for most cases where you are using her, especially with Summer Kaori, it's fine to have her lower. Anna, rank 15, kind of uncharacteristic for mage, but TP gain doesn't matter for her, so whatever. Shinobu. So with UE, what's happening to Shinobu is she just becomes a crit machine and she gains a lot of damage. She also UBs a lot more often, but what's most noticeable is probably just that she can crit units to death like it's nobody's business, and that's also what she's best used at. She just cleaves hard, and once her UB comes out you can just snipe some of those units like Yukari and Kokoro, where otherwise you'd have the issue of your cleavers kind of always chunking them but never finishing them off, so they always keep healing up and stuff like that. But Shinobu just puts an end to that, kills them off, and clears the way for the other attackers to kill the tanks. So that's her. There are ways around it, but once we get HMimi, I think Shinobu and HMimi together are going to be a combination we're going to see a lot. And yeah, she's very strong. Mifuyu, rank 14. another one who loses P-Crit with rank 15, so easy choice. Kokoro, for her, should just stay where she was after last CB and keep her there until CB, where you are sure of which timelines you're going to use her with. Ayumi, rank 14, because rank 15 loses TP retain. Greya, rank 15, and for her, she's kind of emblematic for a lot of mages, where they just lose 4 TP boost without really gaining anything, so rank 14. As Kokoro, just leave as is, no real point in using her. Rem, still kind of a toss-up, because the accuracy loss above rank 12 is kind of huge, but rank 15 is kind of, yeah. At this point, there's so many stats that it's probably not worth to keep her low, especially when after her UE, her rank is gonna go up anyway. So yeah. Ram, rank 14, again, loses TP boost, and she's really strong right now, because not only can she stop Reno if she uses second action UB, but also she can kind of almost hard counter H Shinobu, because her forced miss lines up with her first 2 cleaves, so that's pretty strong. She's not a universal cure, because the third H Shinobu cleave is still gonna hit, and if it does hit Ram, even at 5-star, she just gets immediately deleted. So just be aware of that. You can't just put on Ram and expect H Shino to not do anything, because she's still gonna wreck you if you don't deal with her. Rin, yeah, just rank 14. For her, it's probably going to be a matter of which rank has the highest heal amount, while without losing too much TP retain. And since we know a bit about her 6-star form now, just keep in mind EX and UE are both things that should be left as is as much as possible, because kind of the breakpoints that are known from JP are either super low, where only someone who hasn't built Rin will have them, or there are at points where if you stop now, it's gonna be fine. Like stopping at 130 or 140 UE should be fine for most users. So once UE 150 comes out, don't max out Rin and you're gonna be fine. Mitsuki, rank 14. Akari, yeah, still kind of the issue before, where keeping rank 11, it's going to be hard, but yeah, otherwise it's rank 12 or rank 14, and in the case of CB20, the mage team where she's used in against C3, it's going to be either rank 13-6 or just any rank 14. So yeah, for Akari, just a matter, are you going to use her or not, and if you're going to use her, she probably has to go up. Yori, rank 14, again, TP boost loss. As Saren, still rank 14 or rank 9, just keep wherever she is, and at this point I don't think it's too bad going up with her to rank 14, because there are going to be those cases where she wants rank 14 to get faster UB cycles after the first one when used, for example, with Vishizuru. However, one of the main reasons why, for example, CN went up with a Saren a lot is because of her use with Vishizu together. And since our C1 is a bit different in that it hits harder and the S-Saren plus Vishizu teams aren't viable, I think it's much more reasonable to keep R9 for us. So I'd still expect R14 to mainly be a borrow thing and rank 9 to be the main rank for S-Saren, just because it like works with more timelines at the moment, and you also have access to the rank 9 timelines in the future that are actually a thing for sure. H Miyako, so rank 15, just better for everything, and her UE now is pretty strong. It's kind of the thing where she's really a tech unit, but the panic debuff on her UE that's applied to the 5th position unit is actually pretty strong in the cases where you use her. So for her, she really wants the UE, I think, because it's one of those things where it does stop units from using UB in those cases where it matters and where you're using her for. So for one thing, her use cases extend, because not only can you use her to kind of stall UB and nuke a unit, but you can also use it to just purely stall a unit. But also, thanks to the extra stats on her UE, it also helps her actually one-shot units that she couldn't otherwise without UE. Still, her event is coming up, so most likely better to just wait until then and grab it with the extra shots from that. Now, Adisa, rank 14, and rank 14 pretty much permanently. I don't think she should go up even later. Like, there's a couple timelines that CN is getting now, where at rank 18, which is when red ranks start to be a thing, the much higher M attack and M crit kind of mean for some timelines, even when losing a UB or like having to use a UB with suboptimal timing, she still does more damage, but that's still very fringe. So expect Anne to stay R14 for at least a year, and potentially even longer than that. So for her, absolutely make sure you stop at rank 14 and do not refine mid-lift above 3 because of how long she stays at rank 14. If it's absolutely needed to survive, it's not the end of the world as long as she stays rank 14, but still be very careful with her now, because rank 15 is just, yeah, you're gonna notice issues almost every CB with her if she's above rank 14. Lu should still not be touched. Looks like she's just the perfect weird DPS we're going to use with CB22 loops. And now Nenika. So Nenika, kind of like Anne, is going to stay rank 14 for a very long time. At the moment she still does a lot of damage personally, but once we get Nyaru and even later on, she really will be more of a support unit and her personal damage doesn't matter as much. So it's really important to just stay rank 14. At some point, rank 18, she may go up, but that's a long way off and it's really important for her to be rank 14 until then. So everything else, like even if bonds are fully maxed and mid-lift is fully refined, but still use, like we can still deal with that kind of if you're using like lower stars and just use a higher star timeline, or you like keep her below max level or below the timeline level. That's all fine, but rank 15 just kills her for most timelines, so make sure you don't go above rank 14. T-Aoi, like probably just rank 14. She's going to be used with CB21, and for that I think it's going to be rank 15, but yeah, for now I think she can just stay as is and go up once she's used. Reno, yeah, she's pretty powerful, and I think having a death that survives the various versions of Reno Cannon is important, but for her personally, just rank 14. Susanna rank 14, as Susanna rank 14, Shiori rank 14, so most of the archers just say rank 14. Io, for her, she exchanges TP retain for TP boost at rank 15, and I think that's worth it because she also gets M crit, and for Io it's important to have M crit so she can sometimes get those crits to punch through magic death shields. Yeah, not much more to say about her. The turbo versions where she does a lot of UBs and really disrupts the enemy team, especially against Reno, are really good, really like her at the moment. Samayo, well, her builds are going to be pretty specific, so just use whichever one is used for her loops, and well, we're still in the process of kind of figuring out which Yo builds to use, but I think in almost all cases it's just going to be a matter of adjusting stars and levels rather than gear, because in terms of gear it's pretty clear that for her it's just rank 11 with what's up here, so this build. Suzume, rank 14, and it's looking like we aren't going to get to use her. It's kind of sad, but nothing that can be done pretty much without Nenika bug fixed. It's just using her isn't really viable against Cyclops in CB20. So yeah, too bad. If for some miracle with the client update we do get Nenika bug fixed, then Suzume is back on the menu, but otherwise yeah, her moment is going to come and go without ever being noticed. Too bad. Emilia, rank 15 if she's built. If yours is a virgin, then you can keep her icebox for later. Kasumi, for her, really important, unless you're a PvP lord who's already bricked her. Now is the time to stop, because level 142 is the absolute max she can be for the lowest timeline I've found. So if you stop at level 142 with this rank 11 build and with UE off or at level 1, then I think it's gonna be fine for her. She's gonna be usable for all timelines, either by staying as is or by going up. So yeah, now's the time to start iceboxing her, even if you've been building her for now, until now. So yeah, Kasumi, stop right now and get to use her later. Misato will refuse her last CB, and I think it's fine to say just leave her at whatever she's at right now, because there's not really many uses upcoming for her. But yeah, not much to say. She's just one of those units that is probably fine to use in PvE with whatever she's currently at, so just keep her there and wait until the next use to go up. Nanaka, rank 15. She's one of the mages who gets the TP boost armor again at rank 15, so she can go up. It's slightly better, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And Yui, yeah, still rank 12 or rank 11, depending on which build you are currently at, so just keep her there. There are some loops for CB20 C5 that use her, and in those cases I think it's fine to go to whichever build is necessary. Otherwise, I'd say keep her as is and start iceboxing her now, because there's also a level 142 use case with her later on, so that's what she should be staying at. And I think for everything else like CB, PvE, PvP, at the moment it's fine to just keep her at level 142. The impact is like basically nothing, so just keep her there and be happy later on. Chiaro, rank 14, one of the mages that loses a lot of TP boost. Still very strong, not really as strong as Reno, but in terms of a DPS unit that's tanky and that also deals a lot of damage, she's one of the go-to units at the moment. Even if she is going to fall off a bit, still pretty strong and useful. Hatsune, just rank 15. Misaki can go either way. Personally, I like rank 15 more because it improves her damage and crit rate on the initial burst, but if you do value her UB a bit, then rank 14 is better. So now, the Angel of Death, Luna, who's gonna be critting a lot of Nyarus, I assume, and also gonna be a pain to build. I've only done the highest and lowest she should be at, which is rank 14 with mid-life 3 and mid-right 3, or rank 7 with only mid-life 5. So the issue with her is one, she is a TP booster who uses her TP boost a lot, so by default she's going to be very strong. But because she deals damage with her TP boost, and that's kind of one of the crucial parts that makes her so good, it's kind of an issue because she's Ilya but for other units. So if she has high crit rate, there's a decent chance that for some timelines she can crit your unit to death if you're unlucky. And if you're moving to high ranks like rank 14, it's not a matter of being unlucky, it's just 30% or more. And if you have multiple TP boosts like 5 or 6 that could kill your units and end the run, then it's almost a given that she's gonna crit one of those and you die. So for her, I think it's really important to just keep her as low as possible, both in terms of rank and level. Just pay attention to P-crit. She's one of those units who really doesn't want any extra magic attack or magic crit unless it's necessary. Like, we're gonna see timelines in the future where we do want extra damage from Luna, or we do want the crit, like the infamous you do want a crit here, but I think on release it's not gonna be the case, and on release it's also not worth it to go up ahead of time. Like, most of the timelines I'm looking at right now just are workable with the low Luna builds, so I think that's what you should be at. And in the cases where you need a higher one, it's better to just have one designated high build Luna to borrow for everyone else. Yep, more info on her once we actually get her, because she's one of those units that kind of changes how we build teams and how we approach timelines. So yeah, her and Nyaru together. Now X-Chica, still a Icebox unit, and it's just gonna be the case of one person builds whichever one is needed for each loop, especially if we have stuff like 3 loops in one CB like with CB20, or 2 loops like with CB22. So for her, yeah, still keep her rank 1 until she should go up. And once Nyaru is here and we start using like pseudo loops with Nyaru, X-Chica and Maho 6-star, all the X-Chicas that went up can probably just go to whichever build is used there, which mostly is just rank 12 with like max level or close to max level. As Suzume, so as Suzume still very strong on defense, especially with units like H. Misogi, because she does keep them alive very well, and if she lives herself she can help stall out with the golem and her regeneration on the UB. Yeah, in active use rank 14, but hardcore CB players, like more hardcore than I am, should keep her iceboxed as usual. As Kyaru, rank 14, not much to say there. Aoi, regular Aoi, rank 14 or rank 15, it's just a matter of do you want extra damage or do you want 3 accuracy. Yeah. Chica, keep as is for CB22 loops. She's very useful there to kind of save some of the other units, especially if you want to double loop, for example, then it's important to have Chica the usable build, since otherwise you would have to use Ru on 2 teams, which isn't possible. As Maho, also rank 14, especially since she's really reliant on UB, it's very important. Maho, keep iceboxed until 6-star. Yui, keep iceboxed until 6-star again. Yuki, probably rank 15. There's still a thing, you can keep him rank 12 if you like, especially for CB, but at this point, looking into it a bit further, I don't think his build matters for the initial Nyaru loops, or not Nyaru loops, but just Nyaru comps where he's used, so I don't think there's much need to worry about his build, unless you really want to be super sure and just keep him untouched. Kyoka, rank 14. Even though she would benefit from the extra M crit at rank 15, it's, well, obviously very important for her to get UB on time to edge out the last Ice Lance, and rank 15 loses that a couple times, so really important to keep rank 14, otherwise she loses damage on basically every timeline, and you also have to use your own timelines, because the usual ones won't work. H. Misaki, so finally she gets her UE, and it's pretty strong. It kind of seems a bit weird, because all it does is like reduce TP of the tank, but if you look at the current tanks, especially like Pekka, it's very strong because she helps push through tanks. Her charm is a bit weird sometimes because, for example, against Pudding, she speeds up a cycle in a weird way, but against, like, for example, especially Pekka, especially with the UE, she just really helps push through that. And since we get Rima 6-star soon, she also really helps against her, because she not only helps stall out her UB, she also helps turn her against her own team and kind of push through before the really bad UB cycles where she just continues to push in your team happen. So yeah, a really strong, flexible attacker now, and just a useful tech unit in general. Like, probably out of all the tech units, she's probably the strongest because she's just so universally useful, either as a buffer for mage teams or just when you need that out of range unit where once she UBs the game is over, that kind of thing. So yeah, very strong, and I think she's just gonna be staying at this power level basically for a long time, because yeah, her usefulness is not really limited to the current meta. And now H. Kyoka, she's gonna be one of the important mages for couple CP, and then fall off, kind of like Halloween Bisaki at the beginning on release. So yeah, for her, if you got her, good on you. You're gonna get to use a lot of the very best mage teams and or burrow mages you are missing or have at the incorrect build for a timeline. But otherwise, without H. Kyoka, it's either coping without her or just using one single mage team. So that's all the units for 15.3, and hope you learned something. Hope I've been able to clarify some stuff. If you have any comments, put it down below. That's it for me. Have a good one. Bye bye.